the Astrology Boy.
I'm Xyla Bones. What are we watching today?
We are watching The Mummy, 1999, not to be confused with Tom, what's-his-face, or the original one from, the 40s or 30s. It's the one from 1999. Technically, it's a remake.
Oh. I didn't know.
So what are your thoughts looking at this chart? What are the vibes we expect?
My mind immediately is drawn to the Sun conjunct Saturn. We're bringing something back. It's kind of like a legacy. I feel like the midheaven kind of is like how they're showing it, how they're introducing it to the public, and then what it ends up being known for afterwards. And that makes a lot of sense. It's a mummy. It's resurrecting from the dead. It's Scorpio energy. And the moon in the first house is giving history.
Fair disclosure, I like to use whole signs. Xyla likes to use Placidus. I think it's interesting that this is a remake, and it's so interesting that the Saturn-Sun conjunction you pointed out, but the story is about historical Egypt and a curse of a mummy, and then that mummy comes back to life, and then the plagues of Egypt happen, and all of this stuff that's historical in its narrative regarding the fantasy element of it as well as the historical account of it. So Capricorn rising is so fitting with Capricorn being so obsessed with history and preserving history and recognizing old things.
And that Neptune conjunct the moon is like historical fiction. It's a fantasy. The plot moves forward via what's happening on screen rather than the dialogue or major scenes. The plot is the action.
You pointed out while we were preparing for this that a Mars in Libra is very much an archetype of good versus evil, and this is a very traditional story in the sense that there's a black and white bad guy, a black and white set of good characters, and then some random grays in between dispersed throughout. But the story and the plot itself is, here's the good guy, here's the bad guy. So we're going to be referencing Brendan Fraser's birth chart, and then Rachel Weisz's birth chart, and see how it compares to their characters. Brendan Fraser usually plays himself in his movies, so his chart's character traits are going to really line up very well with the archetype of his character we're watching on screen. However, Rachel Weisz, hers do not. She has lots and lots and lots of Pisces, and typically Pisces are very, very good actors because they become the part that they play. When we reference her character, we're going to be referencing how she's representing the archetype of the movie's chart. She embodies a lot of the Venus and the moon energy of this chart because that's the role that she's playing in this movie as the female protagonist. I have Venus in Gemini, and watching her in the film, she gives Venus Gemini energy. She does not have any Gemini placements in her birth chart, but she does a very good job of reflecting and acting like she does. We'll watch the movie and we'll evaluate her character, but
Keep in mind, she's got a strong Pisces stellium.
Interesting fact, this movie came out in 1999, but 1999 is right around when everyone started to use CGI, whenever it became a huge thing. It's interesting, moon in the first house, you pointed out that it's often a narrator. See, this seems very Mars and Libra retrograde coded.
Oh. It starts with a betrayal.
That 12th house Sagittarius Chiron.
Oh my god. He's gonna try to resurrect her.
There's a lot of history in this movie that's, I don't want to say accurate, but they would do lots of ceremonial burials and stuff, and it's very spiritual culture.
Mummified alive? That's some taboo type shit.
And they're making it so aesthetically campy almost. Because, their North Node in Leo in the 8th house, its ruler is the Sun in the 5th by Saturn. They're really going in. Now, we are in 19 teens. England and France were fighting in the Middle East. Pluto was in Gemini at this time.
Interesting thought. Venus is the aesthetic of the film. Pluto is in Gemini, and Pluto is the generational planet, so it's the aesthetic of the time period because Pluto is what's the culture of this time period? Did we really film this in Egypt? Because these sets are very this is a real set.
It was filmed in Morocco in the United Kingdom. Very heavy concentration of energy by the IC, the Earth itself speaking secrets, because Mercury is right by that IC.
It's almost like the past is speaking too.
Saturn's right there too. This is so Venus Gemini.
It feels very Taurus too.
Well, she has a Taurus Mars Saturn conjunction in her actual chart, the actress. Unfortunately, that is Venus and Gemini coded. I feel it. And you had said this was her breakout film, because wasn't she having her Saturn return at this point? The movie Saturn is in Taurus. Her Saturn is in Taurus.
Brendan has his Saturn in Aries. His breakout film was George of the Jungle. So guys, don't fear the Saturn return. You might just be in your breakout film.
Only person within 1,000 miles who knows how to properly code and catalogue this library, that's why.
You put up with me because I am so well-rounded. Venus Gemini.
It's also very Sagittarius because she's in a foreign country. So Mercury conjunct Jupiter, foreign language, deciphering language.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also cryptic language, Scorpio.
No respect for the dead.
That's disgusting.
You know, a moon conjunct Neptune can feel very Piscean. So with her natal chart being so heavy in Pisces, and this movie's moon being right next to Neptune, the emotional drive, the female lead, the protagonist energy, the heart of the film is Pisces coded with that moon conjunct Neptune.
She's bringing that Piscean wonder and mystery to the film.
Where can we find treasure hunting in the chart?
Treasure hunting always gives me Sagittarius, but treasure is so Scorpio, Pluto. With the movie's charts, midheaven being ruled by Pluto, in Sagittarius.
And then Brendan Fraser, that Sun-Mercury conjunction in Sagittarius in his own natal chart. He embodies a treasure hunter very well. He plays a lot of movies where he's like an explorer or like the protagonist who's the adventurer.
Quintessential. Yeah, Sagittarius is the quintessential adventurer.
Every movie I've seen him in, he was some sort of adventurer. Like genuinely and truly. Even like just the silly comedy movie, he was exploring in some form or fashion. Like mischievous exploring.
He's also that lovable, like, fish out of water archetype, which is very Sagittarius.
Yeah, I was there.
You swear.
Every damn day.
No, I didn't mean that.
I know what you meant. I was there.
That felt very Mercury Aries, Mercury Sagittarius. Fire signs love to swear.
Then get me the hell out of here.
So Aries right now.
An unconsenting kiss, but she's kind of into it.
She was into him, for sure. You've been to that site? Oh my god.
But see, this is the movies Gemini Venus is showing because they're not really friends, they're kind of enemies, but she's mentally curious. Her curiosity is what's planting the seed of attraction.
There's a lot of lying in this movie, I think.
Mm-hmm. It's rather funny. I've noticed that when Mercury is close to the IC, it's lying. It's a pattern I've noticed. People who have Mercury close to the IC, they're very, not only private, but they withhold information that changes the story, or they just tell the story purposefully in a way that is deceptive. Gemini Venus attracted to professor vibes.
He's giving archaeologist.
Libra Mars is a gentleman. He has his Mars in Libra too, so he was having a Mars return when this movie came out. We've determined that he's probably a Gemini moon. And he's a Venus in Capricorn, so this fits his aesthetic as an actor. He goes really well with period pieces.
Were all the rest of his movies in his IMDb, were they period pieces?
No. But he usually is an authority figure of some sort. My new microphone came in.
Oh, how exciting.
I know. I feel like a Sagittarius is never prepared unless it's for an adventure.
Sagittarius is very adept at making use of their environment.
She does carry a very childlike energy. Her natural Piscean energy is manifesting in that childlike sense of wonder that Gemini also shares with Pisces.
Why did you kiss me?
No, I was about to be hanged. It seemed like a good idea at the time.
That was the most fire sign Mercury thing I've ever heard in my life. Where in the chart do you see like a campy shoot 'em up vibe?
The Libra Mars. I feel like Taurus Sun has a classic feel to it. Oh, them being this duo in the action scenes where, like, one of them's noticing one thing, another one's noticing another thing, and they're, like, doing this tango the whole time. It's so Libra Mars.
Yeehaw, brother.
She is such a Pisces in this movie, though. Like, this is exactly what a Pisces would be doing.
She's just happy to be a part of something bigger than herself. I feel like Pisces can sleep anywhere. Aries can sleep anywhere. Taurus can sleep anywhere.
Sagittarius can sleep anywhere. I've noticed this more about a Sagittarius than any other sign. Their home is the world's, and so they feel comfortable everywhere, to sleep everywhere. They're typically the first people to fall asleep while traveling, and I've also caught them sleeping at parties.
I think we can agree Virgo is the least comfortable.
I was always less fall asleep at my parties. Any party. I have a Virgo Venus. Maybe that's why.
I have to be so incredibly comfortable or like so exhausted my body shuts down.
I have been known to fall asleep during a haircut, though.
Who does that?
I feel like if there's a Neptune in the first house of a movie, there's a high chance there's going to be some interesting animals. This whole movie really is a race, isn't it?
Libra Mars is surprisingly competitive too.
But like Mars, with the Mars being conjunct the midheaven, and this movie being a race to find something.
A Libra Mars has a lot of suppressed anger, and so the way they express that is probably through competition, I would assume.
Because there's rules, there's structure around the fighting now. It's fair.
So they're not angry, they're just competing. But it's to get out their anger. That moment was very Gemini Venus. They were bonding over doing something lighthearted.
Where are bugs in the zodiac?
Just finding bugs themselves would probably be the 6th house. But what the bug is doing in relationship to your life would, I think, depend. Like this movie, 12th house. They're enemies, they're hiding, they're trying to kill you.
Drink every time you hear the word bugs.
She has no bodily awareness, no physical awareness, and I love it. Very air sign.
Very Pisces,
Very
too.
air water of her. Which is funny because she in real life has a Taurus Mars.
I think to come off as physically unaware of yourself in a movie, you have to know what it is to be physically aware.
Otherwise, it'd just be bad acting at that point. Or like 100% authentic.
I feel like she has a Gemini Mars, her character. Because it's very playful, and when she is paying attention, she makes very good use of the environment, and she's paying attention to her teammates.
This is very Libra Mars coded. Libra Mars. Love it. So passive aggressive.
That was so Jupiter Mercury coded and Aries. Like, his whole character is that conjunction.
Ramble things about a bit and then rip it all out through your nostrils.
I mean, this is historically accurate. This is Sun conjunct Saturn, where this is a historical film. Capricorn rising. This is a period piece.
They're going for some accuracy. Theatrical retelling of
The
accurate
Leo North Node, they are making it a spectacle in a good way.
spectacle.
Twilight has South Node in Leo. It was a spectacle of disaster. This one is a glorious spectacle.
Whereas Twilight received a lot of backlash for its camp. We called it
Yes.
cringe. Oh god, I hate bugs. Oh yeah, it's like under the skin. Scorpio. You know what's interesting too? There's a lot of thievery in this movie. Gemini, Mercury, Scorpio. Karma for stealing. Capricorn, Saturn, Scorpio. He stole that, and now he's dead.
When the good guys steal it, it's okay though.
It's fine when Taurus wants something, but it's not okay when Scorpio wants something. When Scorpio does it, it's stealing. When Taurus does it, it's for honor, it's for glory. I'm supposed to have this.
That Taurus sun is like the good guys can do what they want, but the Scorpio midheaven is like, but the bad guys are really bad. These people with no access to a dentist have the most beautiful white teeth I've ever seen in my life.
The bad guys always have bad teeth. Have you noticed that?
It's kind of like when the bad guys never use an iPhone because Apple's like, nope, we're good. We don't get our lithium
didn't know
batteries
that.
from child slaves in caves.
Look at this. Look at this flirting.
Like my brother, sir. I know when to say no.
Unfortunately, that's not
Pisces.
true for Gemini Venus. I'm so sorry.
Not true for Pisces either.
The famous explorer.
Oh, so much legacy in this film.
Taurus likes family. They like the security that comes with family, too, of passing down the wealth, the knowledge.
And it's the 4th house, a family legacy.
Gemini Venus is a tease.
I think Libra Mars is a big tease too.
Oh, Libra Mars, huge tease.
Huge
Huge
tease.
tease. Huge.
Libra in general is a huge tease.
Absolutely.
Guilty as charged. Oh, there's a man with a leaf blower outside. Oh, they're opening 2 things. Both sides.
He would bring with him the 10 plagues of Egypt.
We're telling legends. It's Mercury conjunct Jupiter.
That's called stealing, you know.
It's so on the nose.
When the good guys
movie.
do it, it's okay, though. She literally just opened the Book of the Dead.
Gemini Venus would open a book.
And a Gemini Venus would say what's in it. She's literally reading from the Book of the Dead.
Let me read this
Just
curse.
What is this? I'm so curious. What's the worst that could happen?
You must not read from the book!
Uh-oh.
Here come the plagues of Egypt. Fun fact. Hygeia, the asteroid symbolizing health and health ailments, is in the 8th house. And then you got Juno in the 12th house. Juno symbolizes weather events. And right now, quite literally, there's a weather event of a plague of locusts killing people. With the midheaven in Scorpio, the Scorpio ruler being in Sagittarius by Juno, like this film is known for the curse specifically, and the consequences of the curse.
You know what else just occurred to me? Is the 3rd and the 4th house being the setting. The sun is in the 4th house. It's a desert. It's hot. It's dry. But also most of this takes place at night when the sun's below the earth. The 5th house is where the sun is in whole sign.
Which would still represent like shining, bright, expressive. The sun is quite literally shining bright in the desert. The 6th house for small pets. It's that Gemini Venus.
It keeps popping up. She's everywhere in this film. I guess in the 6th house, it's like what's constantly present.
How is this going to affect our day-to-day routine? How is this going to affect our relationship with our body?
His face is going to be ripped off or something. Yeah, that
He's
was
blind.
bad CGI. Oh, he took his eyes.
He had all of his organs ripped out, and so he's getting them back.
That's right, he takes
So
them
since it was
back.
4 people, he split it up 4 even ways, where he's going to take a fourth of the organs that he needs from them.
Oh,
Oh, his eyes and his tongue.
Oh yeah, he thinks that she's his lover or something.
The reincarnated form of
Yeah.
the woman who killed herself. Oh no, the 6th house, health. His health is bad because of the pets. No, this movie was one of, like, the CGI, they were like, we're gonna make it creepy.
The mummy is scary. Like, clearly fake, but scary nonetheless. What?
And there's an opposition of Mars and Mercury and Libra and Aries. I love it.
It's so Gemini coded.
This is Gemini Venus. I'm so sorry.
I think it's Mercury conjunct Jupiter too. Like, let me try all the religions.
And then Sag in the 12th house too. That spiritual fear, naturally. I love the 12th house Chiron because it's very much like God's punishing you.
I woke him up and I...
Pisces is like, it doesn't matter. I didn't know. Don't blame me. It wasn't my fault I opened the book.
My Gemini Venus was just so curious.
Wait, they have to make
See,
it look so
and-
enticing.
He's a Gemini moon with the rest of his energy. When I'm curious, it's okay, but when your curiosity causes me to be trapped somewhere or to not be able to exist, the logical part of that Gemini energy shows.
You can tell she's looking past him. Like, the angle of her eye contact is so off. Oh,
I'm
cats.
sorry. Why would the cat have been there after gunshots? I'm so sorry. It's my first real grievance with this movie that took me out of the plot. Otherwise, I've been having a great time. This is very good camp.
This movie has Neptune in the 1st house. You can imagine whatever you want.
The spiritual element of cats being the guardians of the underworld in Egyptian mythology. The cat just knew its purpose.
Why doesn't he like cats?
Well, cats are the guardians of the underworld. You will fear them.
There you go.
Jonathan, will you stop playing with that?
That's Gemini Venus coded.
He tried to kiss me.
It's because of his love for Anaximandro that he was cursed.
Get you a man that stays in love with you for 3,000 years.
Scorpio.
Honestly, love transcends death.
Sells his soul for you.
But not keeping me in here!
Very Aries, Sagittarius coded.
Taurus, too.
Taurus Sagittarius is such a delightful combination.
Oh, it's so glamorously fabulous. This movie really has a fabulous feel, even though it's about something gross. It's religious and it's glamorous.
It's very similar to the liturgy of like Orthodox churches. There is a certain beauty to the ceremony. It's very popular in Middle Eastern cultures to have the ceremony. Part of the ceremony is the beautification process.
Taurus is very orthodox. Would they have had electric fans back then in Morocco?
Well, I don't know.
In 1919, they had electric fans in Morocco.
I think this is 1922 at this point.
I don't know that they had electricity in Morocco.
When were ceiling fans invented? 1860s? No, yeah, this is historically accurate, I guess.
All right.
Flashlights were invented in 1899. That's crazy. The batteries were weak, but they were there.
So when was the first battery invented?
1800.
Well, they weren't lithium, were they?
Oh, lithium were 1976. We are being very Gemini Venus. This movie is
We really
inspiring
are.
us.
Well, if the astrology says it's historically accurate, I want to make sure. What?
They were going for camp.
Ugh. He just ate a bug. I'm gonna do that to my boyfriend later. Grab a cat. Look what I got. He's an influential guy. Look at him. You got followers faster than I did, that's for sure.
Well, Capricorn energy always does well with age. And he's 3,000 years old, so he's gone through, what, 1,900 Saturn returns?
What are they happening? Every 30 years?
27.
He's 3,000 years old? It says 100 Saturn
Oh, he's had
returns.
111 Saturn returns. My bad. I'm so bad at
111?
math.
Is that the golden number? Saturn returns? Maybe he's onto something.
Oh, Brendan Fraser's character has a Taurus Saturn because we don't have his actual birthday. We just have the year he was born. And the year he was born, Saturn was in Taurus. His character's having a Saturn return based on when this movie was released.
That's so interesting. This movie is so Saturn.
I think that's why it stands the test of time, too. Like, it could lean into its camp as much as it wants. The people are going to eat it up for eternity.
That's getting a little ridiculous now.
He loves the drama. It's like the woman walking down a stairs with, like, a robe. Back, I say.
Whatever.
For all eternity, idiot.
That was Gemini Venus.
He still has to take me to Hamanaptra to perform the ritual.
Sacrifice myself. A Pisces.
Pisces. We said that at the same time. I love how the Sagittarius is just tossing him in the hole, taking charge, being like, here's what we need to do. Let's go. I think in the right context, Sagittarius is actually a really good leader. This movie is helping me appreciate Sagittarius energy.
When there's no plan and we're in a place we don't recognize and I can see the overall... Sagittarius gets the big picture.
Is it dangerous?
Well, you probably won't live through it.
Why, Joe? Do you really think so?
Well, everybody else we bumped into has died. Why not you?
What's the challenge then?
Rescue the damsel in distress, kill the bad guy, and save the world.
I know I'm an Aries. I'm Ariesing. Can't you see that?
I've never seen one so big.
That's what she said.
We think alike too much.
Wow, showing us some skin.
Why didn't he drop him off right at the entrance? Now you have to walk. Holy shit. A lot of weather in this movie.
Juno in the 12th house. When Juno is in air signs, fun fact, that's when hurricanes are the worst. If you look at the data.
I don't know why it made me laugh. He's that type of CEO that puts his face on everything.
He's the face of his plagues.
It'd been really funny if when she kissed him, there was like suddenly a boner just comes out of the sandstorm. Because, you know. Aw.
He died how he wanted to.
I don't think that there is such a thing as quicksand. But as a child, I really thought I would have to know how to be prepared for a situation like that.
I think the late 90s really made us all terrified of quicksand.
Always get their comeuppance.
Saturn coded.
Scorpio coded. The major points of what defines this movie, like the Saturn, the Scorpio midheaven, the Libra Mars, very karma. Even the moon in the first house is very karma. My brother in Christ, those are not candy.
Gemini coded. Your curiosity is gonna kill the cat.
Oh, but the cat saved the day in this movie. I think your plant's giving you a hug right now.
I'm a Virgo rising. Plants love me.
Here's the Taurus sun right here.
How are these guys?
Your mom. Oh my gosh. It just slipped out. Oh no, that's what she said. What kind of bread is that?
Almond biscotti.
Her 6th house is showing. The pets, they're everywhere.
Cats, rats, and bugs. All 6 house.
Flies, frogs.
Locusts, camels. I guess that's Neptune. But they're animals for travel. So I feel like it is kind of the Gemini Venus too. Guys, this is why it's important to move on. Okay.
You can't tell that to a Scorpio.
Amun-Ra is the sun god. The sun in the 4th house. Conjunct Saturn and Taurus. That's very much the book of Amun-Ra, the sun god. I don't know.
I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. I'm just faking it till I make it. When a Virgo wakes up.
In this movie and in the last movie, there was themes of sacrificing a maiden Moon in the first house they have in common. Silly Sagittarius.
Silly Sagittarius.
I think that's something I can appreciate about a Sagittarius is they know when to fight and they know when to run.
Not again. The shadow people killed her.
Man, it would suck to have to wait 3,000 years just to watch your lover die again.
He actually genuinely hurt his back during this movie, and he was never able to really do his own stunts again without pain in the future.
Aw. Yeah, that looked like it hurt. Saturn opposite Scorpio. What is immortal becomes mortal. Because Scorpio is immortal, and Saturn is like the inevitable mortality. It's almost like she said what I said.
You see what I was saying? How like this movie feels like it's so fast and it zooms through, but like it takes forever and it's so slow. I don't know, the Aries is rushing, the Libra Mars is like taking its time, Capricorn's taking its time, Taurus is taking its time, Gemini wants to rush, so it's like a, you know when you're like at the end of a movie theater and you're like, oh, I've been sitting down for a while, I'm starting to feel restless?
Yeah,
now.
I'm feeling the restlessness a little bit. But you're gonna stay because you want to see if they make it out alive now. Is he gonna make it? No, he's not gonna make it.
I don't know why I was gonna save him.
Because he's the good guy.
So instead of being crushed, he'd rather starve to death.
I guess you might have a chance of getting out if you don't get crushed to death. The Gemini Venus comes back one more time. What a horrible way to go. Guys, don't ever help the bad guy, or this'll happen to you. The whole place just blows up. Oh, jeez.
You weren't wrong.
I want to see the face one more time in the puff of smoke. Is it gonna happen? No, probably not.
What an Aries way to end the hero's journey. They won, but there was that one last little jump scare. Enemies to friends to lovers.
How about you, darling? Would you like a little kissy wissy?
Oh, you know their breath stank though too.
That dry desert air, right off into the sunset. Wow. Don't you hate it when people clap at the end of a movie?
Such a white person thing to do. It's like when the plane lands. So what are your closing thoughts?
I like that movie. It's camp. It's silly. The CGI was bad. It hurt me a little bit to watch at times, but I mean, it was like just like a fun romp.
I think this was more CGI horror, like the skin, the flesh, that type of stuff. Like when he's crawling over there and they're engaging with it in that way, that hadn't been done very often. So this is one of the first of its kind.
This movie was romantic at every turn, not just in the main character's dynamic, but also in the aesthetic and the plot in general. Like the foundation of it is two lovers. It's like it's undying love, you know, and the love is present through the whole movie. When I really look at that movie and then now I'm looking back at the chart, I'm like, there was something romantic and beautiful the whole time.
It was an epic tale of romance, while at the same time being engaging and exciting and adventurous, very adventurous, especially with Brendan Fraser's Sagittarius chart bringing his personality to help manifest this story.
I think this movie actually gave me a lot more clarity about how to read movies, because this movie is such a movie's movie. Like, you know what I mean? It's very Leo North Node. It's a movie's movie.
All we really had to go off of was the chart of the movie itself. We didn't really have accurate readings for the characters. We just had the actors and how they manifested it, which Brendan Fraser's character was very Aries, Sagittarius coded, and then her character was very Gemini, Pisces coded, which is half the chart, half their personalities.
Well, I got no more thoughts, and I'm Xyla Bones.
I'm the Astrology Boy.
And you can find us on TikTok at Xyla Bones and at the Astrology Boy, is that right?
And you're watching Disney Channel.
Da, 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 da. Leave a comment and like this video and subscribe if you want more astrology movie content. Let us know in the comments what movie you want to see, or tell us your favorite movie. Tell us what you thought of this movie when you saw it, or how you think about it now that you see the chart.